to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a segment where Terry and myself will be discussing a potential signing, whether we should or shouldn't sign him. That is, of course, the one that's been bandied around by Marcel Brands when he's spoken to the Dutch press recently, not for the first time. And that player is, of course, Donny van der Beek of Manchester United, who's been very much a bit part player since he moved to Old Trafford just over a year ago. He's not featured hardly at all this season since the start, and it's one of those. I think it's looking more and more likely that he will leave Manchester United. And Marcel Brands, of course, came out in the Dutch press and said that we were trying for a move for Van der Beek in the summer, and that might not be the end of it. It could be a case of us going back in for him in January. Whether that's the right move or not, we're going to look into that now. Terry, what's your take on Donny van der Beek's sort of spell in England? Is it really as much of a disaster as people make out?
Yeah, of course it is. He's he gets compared to Davy Klaassen a lot, and that's for a reason, isn't it? Not only is he a blonde attacking midfielder from Ajax who's Dutch, he's also gone to the Premier League and just not played, just disappeared the second he got there, and you wonder why he was bought. So the comparison is there. I like Ajax. I've always liked Ajax. So I catch Ajax as much as I can. I'm not going to sit here and say I watch them against like lower table, Eredivisie sides, but I do watch as many Ajax games as I can. So that's about 3 or 4 or 5 a year outside of the Champions League. And Davy Klaassen looked really good in their team, but Van der Beek was a cut above him in quality. Klaassen was a goal scorer, but he was just one of those like tapping merchants. He'd finish the move. He wasn't. Whereas Van der Beek was involved in everything. And I think he is a much better player than Klaassen. This move to Man United has come too early for him. He shouldn't have gone from Ajax to Man United. I think, from what I hear from like a friend of mine who's a Man United fan, he was brought in under the pretense that Pogba might be going in the summer that Van der Beek was signed. So he wanted a player there to replace him if he did go, or if he went in a year's time, rather than having to buy someone new. And Pogba hasn't gone and has stuck around. So he's had no game time, no chances. And basically, I think Van der Beek has started this season and gone, right, I need to go. I gave them a chance. He's waited as long as he can, and they're not going to play him. So I need to go. Whether we're the right move, whether the league's not, too fast, too, physical for him, whether he really is like Klaassen, I'm not sure. I think he's a good player. I don't think he'd suit Everton. And I'll tell you why. What's your take on him first?
My take on him is he's like, I think I always liked, like I say, I like to seeing him play for Ajax. Like you said, I think you mentioned Klaassen, of course, and himself, Van der Beek, but even like the real superstar of their team was Hakim Ziyech, and he's gone to Chelsea, and he's not. I mean, he's not bad. He's doing well, but he's not like blowing the league away like I thought he would. So I don't know if it's an adaptability thing, and with players coming from the Eredivisie to the Premier League, is it too big a jump?
It could be, but there's always exceptions. Like Luis Suarez came from Ajax, he's the best striker in the league by a mile. But I think actually Ziyech's quality. I just think he's at Chelsea, and it's quality everywhere. But the reason I don't think Van der Beek would be a good Everton signing is when I watched them for Ajax have all the ball and they play and they build up for ages, and they're proper. They're like the Dutch Man City in their league. Whereas at Everton, you need to be a little bit more of a, I don't know, this Benitez's Everton especially, we're going to surrender the possession of the ball and hit on the break. I don't know whether Van der Beek will suit that. Has he got that to that side of his game? I've never seen it.
Has he got the engine to like bomb up and down like as a Corey or an Allen does? I think we need more.
Is he that type of player who will thrive in a team who aren't going to have the ball for much? So he's got to do a lot of off the ball work. He's got to defend. He's got to keep his shape. But then when he gets the ball and the team go on the attack, he's got to be explosive and make every move count. I don't know whether he'll suit that. It's really why Iwobi doesn't suit us, because he was wasn't that good at Arsenal, but he was better at Arsenal because Arsenal back then were much more, well, they're better than they were now, clearly, and they were much more of a possession side, even though they weren't the team of yesteryear. He's come here and he doesn't suit having to be, economical with his possession. He likes to have possession and get it back, and I think Van der Beek could be the same. So we are down, centre midfielders, but I think players who can play that sort of Owen Park's clean sheet mentality, that type of that shithouse football. And I don't think he's a shithouse footballer. I think he would be much better suited going to another team in another country, doesn't matter which one, who are going to be heavily possession based, and he's going to be able to play his game a lot more. I don't think he wouldn't suit Everton, and he may not even suit the Premier League, but it's not for the same reasons as Davy Klaassen, who, had physical problems, clearly. I think Van der Beek hasn't got that, but his game doesn't suit, and there's every chance I could be wrong, and he's got the physical problems as well.
It's not one I don't really know enough about. We haven't seen enough of him in the Premier League to see what his real fatal flaws are, to be honest, because I don't think he's got on enough in Premier League games. He's been used a lot more in the Europa League and in the League Cup and whatnot, but I don't think we've seen enough of him in the Premier League to really determine how good or bad he is. I think Klaassen, we had the same issue. He never got a run to even try and adapt.
Do you know what it makes me think of? He might be Andre Gomez is a quality player. He's just not a quality Everton player. He doesn't suit the way we're playing. He did for a spell
when Silva was manager.
Yeah, when Silva was manager, we were going for a different style, and we could because we had Idrissa Gueye. Without Idrissa Gueye, we've had to change the style, and it's one the club suits more. Frankly, I think Jamie Carragher says it all the time, but I want Everton to be the Atletico Madrid of England. Then that's another topic, but I think Van der Beek could be another Andre Gomez type signing. I don't think he'd suit the rest of the team around him. And I personally, going off what Benitez's career has been like, I don't think he's a Benitez player. Like, he likes the grafters, he likes the hard workers. He
wants a Mascherano, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't mean like, he only likes dogs. He likes players with quality, but he doesn't like, possession-based players. He likes counter-attacking players. He likes players, the only one I've ever known Benitez to buy, I could, someone in the comments might laugh at me here, but Xabi Alonso was the possession, midfielder that Benitez says, the highest profile possession midfielder that Benitez has bought. And even he wasn't like one of those, builds up 500 passes players. He was economical with his passes.
He played good pings. It was long, accurate passes. It wasn't like tippy-tappy.
Yeah, he wasn't involved in 10 triangles a match with the other midfielders. He was like their quarterback type player, wasn't he? So I can't see Van der Beek being a Benitez type player, and I certainly don't think he'd be an Everton type player. I think he'd be another ill-fitting player like Gomez, like Iwobi, a player who'd do well in a different team with a different philosophy to ours. So it's a no for me, but I do think he's a good player. I first I thought, yeah, I'll have him, but then the more I thought about it, because I've got a skewed perception because I did see him for Ajax, so I thought, he's good, we'll have him. But then, would he be as good here? Not for me, because we're not Ajax, and Ajax aren't Everton.
Yeah, I think we need to find, I think when we are recruiting, that is a good point, we need to find clubs that have a similar style of play to what
not even clubs, just players who'd fit, because, Idrissa Gueye didn't even stick out at Villa, did he? But he was great for us. Just use him as another example. Like, you can have Everton type players, especially if you've got a clear identity of what you want to play, and that's something Benitez has brought, and the type I like. But we're still trying to get rid of some players who don't suit that. So I don't think bringing in another one would help. Plus, the outside stuff also comes into play. It's going to be on massive wages. We're trying to get the wage bill down.
Yeah, I think Man United players, to be honest, I think for that reason alone, we shouldn't be touching them with a barge pole.
Plus, they'll want proper money for them, and frankly, it's been forgot about now. But his agent described us as a step down.
I was about to bring that up, actually, the fact that he came out with that. We haven't even got onto that yet, but that was a massive no-fly zone for me. I don't think I said when that happened, not just Van der Beek, any other player who's on that agent's books, we shouldn't be going near them. I don't want agents who look at us like that. Even if it's the truth, but you shouldn't be coming out and saying that publicly, like dissing the club like that. I don't want to work with an agent like that.
Well, yeah, we clearly are a step down from Man United. You know, the Man United and the Champions League, etc. But you don't want, you know, if that's going to be the attitude, then like, no, not for us. We want players who are looking to make their name at Everton, and if they're good enough, they can move on then. And the only players who I want to be having a step down, air quotes, are players like Luca Dean, who just want to find a football at home. I don't mind you coming from a better club than Everton if you're going to make Everton your home, which Luca Dean and Yerry Mina clearly have done. They clearly both love being at Everton. Luca Dean signed a long-term contract recently. Yerry Mina's would probably take one if you're offered it to him as well, I'm sure. I don't mind that, but when you get people like Delph or, from the sounds of his agent, Van der Beek, who just think, I'm just going to walk there. Oh, Schneidlin, another one. They're crap.
Yeah.
I'll go. Years. Don't want any of that. Thanks. We've had enough of that. No, thank you.
I think it's one of them. You can't be seeing, even if you are a step down in terms of league positions or whatever, but you can't see moves like that as a step down in your career. It's a new challenge. You know, it's a place where you're going from being a bench player to maybe starting. That's a whole new challenge. And if players don't see it that way and agents don't see it that way, then they're not agents or players we should be dealing with.
No, true. I mean, if they're going to say it publicly as well, that shows how little respect they've got for the club. So it's like, no thanks, mate.
Definitely
not for me. If you're going to think of us as a massive step down, you need to be the type of player who's going to walk in and just piss it like James Rodriguez did. If James Rodriguez didn't have his injury problems, he wouldn't be here. But if he was, we wouldn't have sold him. I think it was just the economics of that deal which made us get rid of him, because he was a world-class player, but we were paying about 400 grand a game when it all evens out at the end of the day, maybe more.
Yeah, so, you know, in that respect, I don't mind, like you say, players if they're world-class, but Donny van der Beek isn't world-class, and Fabian Delph certainly isn't world-class.
Oh. No, but yeah, as I say, there's loads of reasons why he shouldn't. If he does come, then I hope we get the Ajax Van der Beek, because he was quality. Most people saw him in that Champions League run where they got to the semi-final and lost to Tottenham at the death. He was unbelievable. But there's a lot of things in the no category and only a few things in the yes category. So no, not for me.
I think we'll finish on that. It's a pretty unanimous no from this panel anyway. So Marcel Brands, I know you were saying the possibilities are still on for the deal, but if you're going to listen to us, don't go for them, mate. But we'll see what happens anyway. Obviously, still a couple more months before silly season kicks off, so you never know what else might pop up between now and then. Anyway, we'll leave it at that on the Donny van der Beek front. Let us know your opinions, guys, who's tuning in. Give us a comment. Would you have Van der Beek? Would you not? Drop us a comment, let us know. Give this video a like, subscribe for more content, and until next time, thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.